Roma today doesn't know what to do. His midfield can't expand anymore, and Totti is worried because River keeps growing and growing unstoppably, and they can't stop them.
Hi folks, as you found out the other day, we made a video and showed you all that info. River is the most popular club in the world for the third year in a row. This isn't news. The River Plate phenomenon stirs up passion even if marketing and the media want to hide this and try to sell you a different reality. Here we're going to listen to Gustavo Yaros, Balasone, Passman and Pipi Novello. First, sharing the information about the roofing of the Monumental. What it's gonna do is allow River to increase its capacity to over 100,000, and secondly, some interesting things like this is a loop. We've already made videos in previous years, like the Bosteros start to feel pain from River drawing the biggest crowds, selling the most tickets and being the most popular. Guys, let's play this audio and we'll jump in to make a few small comments.
River at the end of January or the beginning of February, we talked about this with Gustavo. At noon, they announced the expansion and roofing of the Monumental Stadium. River's field will have a capacity for more than 100,000 people, and they will put around 50 towers around the stadium to support the roof. It's going to be an impressive project, and it won't prevent River from continuing to play at home in the Monumental Stadium. And speaking of that, River just showed off on social media, because for the third year in a row, it's the team that draws the biggest crowds in the world. Two German teams are also on the podium, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. For the third year, River has drawn the largest crowds to stadiums worldwide.
Impressive friendly matches in the summer.
Note 1. Balasson. He quickly changes the subject. Not that he's changing the subject. He says, "Don't you think it's important what Gustavo Yaros says about River being the world's most popular club? That caught my attention." Are you leaving it for now? Let's check the news.
Today I'm going to say something very serious. Let's see. I'm going to say it with pain. Yes, with pain. But just as I have to, I owe it to my soldiers to come here on the night of the 25th to do the show. Leave my house and put up with the look on Beta's face saying, "Are you really going to the radio today?" Today I also owe it to my soldiers. And after the news that came out today, that River, for the third year in a row, is the most attended club in the world, ahead of Borussia and Bayern Munich. Honestly, it pains me, because that's how it hurts for a Boca fan. This fact, it's a fact based on physics, let's say. They have a bigger stadium. River fills the stadium.
Look, Boca has a smaller stadium. They can't fill it.
In life, you have to be fair. In life, you have to be fair.
Or does it have more members than Boca?
He goes to the area and says, well, it's because of a physical issue. What are you talking about? And he finishes it off by saying that in terms of members, it's more or less the same. I'm going to tell you, River. As of today, by the end of 2025, River has 351,487 members and Boca has 323,000. There's a difference of almost 30,000 members. What do you mean almost the same? It's over 10%. That's a huge difference. It's unbelievable how some people talk without knowing anything really because they're biased. Even if they pretend to be neutral, it's impressive.
Just like Boca fans, I grew up through the 70s, 80s and 90s. In the 80s, River won everything, and much of the 90s, until Bianchi arrived. What did we Boca fans used to say? But we said we're the greatest because we sell more tickets. So, when Boca was the one selling more tickets, even though La Bombonera is smaller than El Monumental,
back then stadiums weren't full.
We used to say that Boca was the greatest in Argentina. How do you do it today as a Boca fan? How do you tell a River fan, who in the last 3 years has been the most popular in the world, not just in Argentina, that Boca is still bigger than River?
Note 2. What Totti Passman says is very true. If for decades they said that Boca was the club that drew the most people in the world, it was the most popular in the world, actually because it sold more tickets, because it brought more people to the stadiums. Today the most popular club in the world is River, not just in Argentina but in the world. It's a great truth acknowledged by a Boca fan. It hurts.
I think today Boca is a sleeping giant, Boca. What it needs is something new. Alberto J. Armando, I remember when Alberto J. Armando set up the first Pilates. Yes, for boxes and seats.
Not in the sports section.
Not in the Ciudad Deportiva, and to build a stadium in what is now Puerto Madero.
A visionary plan to build Ciudad Deportiva in the 70s. 110,000 people.
The Ciudad Deportiva was a failed project. I visited it later. With Martin, my uncle and president of Boca, we used to visit the pool at the sports complex, which was wonderful.
Kids today ask what it will be like.
There's a plaque there, I think, right? The pools at Boca Sports City were like Disney. Now the stadium, here once, a night of football. What I feel is a jab at the architect who had the project, etc., etc., etc. You who are a sleeping genius. What happens is that, for me, the Brito administration took something away from Boca. 1 billion kilometers apart, like Macri's Boca from River back then.
Economically? The title, no.
In management, in marketing. You see, while River is building a stadium for 86, I've already lost count. Maybe 85, 86, or 87,000 people. The president of Boca celebrates that he changed the Branson door at 805. This fact is so shocking and it seems like a jab, but it's not. It's the reality because Riquelme really celebrated. He celebrated on social media and in interviews that he changed the Branson door at 805. Meanwhile, River built the best stadium in South America, surpassing the Maracanã, the Monumental. Today, that's the difference between Boca and River. So Boca, unfortunately, no. As long as Riquelme keeps Boca asleep, today you don't have a sports project. Is Boca about to win their 7th? Because this paradigm that River changed, Boca can change it in the future, in my opinion, because Boca, I repeat, is a sleeping giant. What Boca needs is to win the cup. A president? Seriously? Once and for all, start a stadium with 120,000 people and create a sports project to win the 7th. Then Boca will shift the paradigm and reclaim Argentina's top spot.
How come now nobody wants to leave La Bombonera?
Today, you have to admit it. River, well, then accept that you're going to be second in Argentina, that you're going to be smaller than River. Yes, even if you expand it, accept and deal with it.
Even if you grow it, accept it.
Boca wins 10 more Libertadores, but River remains great for its massive stadium.
What if for the next 20 years it remains the world's top team for fan attendance? No?
I agree with Totti. Its institutional growth doesn't match its titles won.
Ask River how 2025 went. River.
Didn't make a difference.
On the field.
At the time when Totti compares and talks, he talks about a sudden institutional growth of River at the expense of Boca's. The titles were even. In fact, Boca even made it to a Libertadores final during that time.
That's why second place isn't celebrated. It's just part of an item.
The stadium and the turnout.
But wait, Joker, be fair. If when Boca in the 40s
Their Club World Cups, that's something else.
In the anniversaries, the Club World Cup is fine, and well, in the Club World Cup.
I saw something else.
Do you want to deny it? The last 3 years have brought 85,000 people per match.
They will always bring 85,000.
Not always, not always. They don't have a bigger stadium, and Boca brings more people, exactly.
It's a different time.
Well, different times
Where the teams that
have given. If when Boca sold more tickets, it was the biggest in Argentina, why is it that today in the last 3 years we don't count it? Yes, but Boca still sold more tickets. River, how can you say otherwise? Boca is still number one, right?
in the 80s and 90s, if they weren't in the title race by match 13 or 14, the stadium was empty. It's a lie that it was always full.
They filled the stadium, they didn't.
You went. You got your ticket. There was today. With this, the member changed.
We who went through
Many cup matches, yes, historic ones from the 80s to the 90s. It's incredible that the stadiums didn't fill up at that time. The stadiums didn't fill up. Now there's devotion, madness. I come from my hometown. Do you know how many soccer kids tell me? Now can I
tell something to Jorge?
Macri, the head of the government, but is the government approving the Monumental's renovation? Meanwhile, River had a slightly bigger stadium with the track.
The stadium was always bigger.
But just a little. 65,000, 55,000. Now it's a spaceship, thanks to this Argentine Maracanã he built. You have to react, brother. You can't keep sleeping. Should I change the door, or should I bring the Hard Rock Cafe? You can't, seriously, you can't keep acting so small. You can't. Let it go.
What he has to do is unpopular, whether it's Riquelme or anyone else. Another thing I think Boca has to do is build a stadium at home, all yellow from scratch. Well,
That's
another thing, a director recently.
But that says the members don't want that.
Members problem. Everyone makes it about the members. Once you give them the finished stadium with Wi-Fi and lights everywhere, just like Real Madrid's, forget it. No, you don't want it. No, I don't want an Audi. Don't give it to me. When they hand you the keys and a full tank, you ask, was the car good? The Bombonera topic isn't really sensitive, right? The day it's done, that's it. Yeah, it's obvious you didn't go to the assemblies. Weren't there some huge ones, Boca members? Yeah, the assemblies. Everyone goes to the assemblies. They go to the stadium. They go in or they don't. Yeah, they go in. Oh, the only ones who go in are the ones who say, no, I'm going to say something. We left out a couple of matches. An executive from Angelisi's administration told me our biggest mistake was not expropriating the houses. We had everything to do it and we didn't. And well, that's fine.
It was a risky move, that's fine. I think the big mistake of Angelisi, I discussed it with him over coffee. He told me he had the 300 million to build the stadium in Casa Amarilla, as El Guason says. I got the company a Chinese loan. I don't remember who he talked to afterward, but he paid it back.
He paid it back with the money.
Can I say that if he had left today a stadium for 105,000, 110,000 people, which is 30,000 seats bigger than the Monumental? He says he wants to see if Boca fans don't love him, embrace him, or spend money on his concerts and other events.
The members, do you think the members wanted Negro Ibarra as coach? And the president said, Negro Ibarra, do you think Orsini as striker doesn't show up? A coach? Bombonera is your home?
It's your home.
Why not go to your mom's house? I'm sure it has high ceilings. I didn't use air conditioning, just the fan. Why do you have air conditioning in your house if it's so historic?
If you're going to make a stadium with 90,000 seats, I'll buy it. But you can't. I'll buy it. Wait, here. Fabio Rizzi tells me you can.
Ah, well, but not the Oro project, of course. But he doesn't want to do that project.
He says the opposition disagrees.
Of course, but the Vilalismo supporters...
Well, okay, do you want me to tell him if he keeps going like this, unfortunately, in 2 years it's going to be very hard for him? Doesn't Boca Fabian work?
I'll tell you straight, he gave it to the project, but someone else acting as the owner has it.